Next thing I need to do is to make up 4 wire hangers, and what I've started off with was a single length of 10 meters of this 2mm stranded steel wire. At the moment I've cut that in half and doubled it over so you can just see the 4 ends. So what I did, I made up a little test piece here, as you can see there, and I'm pretty happy with how that worked out. I did try and look for like proprietary wire hangers online, and it just seemed too difficult. I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for, and I thought, well, you know, in the true spirit of the maker, how about if I just try and use stuff I've got lying around the workshop and make something up. So what I did was I came up with this. Now that coupler or joiner, whatever you want to call it there, that is simply the insert of a 2-screw earth cable connector. And it worked out really well. It's very, very strong with those double screws clamped down hard on that wire. There's no way that's pulling out at all. The only thing I wasn't too happy about on this was just that that end there, that bare end. I thought it's a possibility of that fraying. I wanted something that I could crimp over the end there. Again, looking around my workshop, and I found these. They're like cable crimp links. And when you strip off the insulation, it actually looks like that, and that's the perfect size for this cable. And what I've done there on these ones, I've already put them on, is basically you just use your electrical pliers and you crimp it on. So I crimped on just that the half of that, cut it off, and works great. Okay, and there you have it. 4 wire hangers all made up, and there's 2 of them there, fitted in place. I don't mind how they've turned out actually. Those brass connectors got a bit of an industrial look, which I quite like, and I think they're going to work just perfect. These white hangers are not going to fix to the ceiling itself, but rather pass through the ceiling plasterboard and fix to the framing inside the ceiling space. So just allow that to enter through the ceiling, you know, in a much nicer looking way, rather than just drilling a hole straight in the plasterboard, which would have looked like this. If I was just to pass the wire through that little hole in the ceiling, just like that, yeah, it doesn't look real nice. So I wanted to come up with something to just make that look a bit more finished, and that's the idea of this thing you just saw me make. So what's going to happen is just drill a 6mm hole or a 1/4 inch hole into the ceiling. And this will fix to both sides of the ceiling. I'll just get that in there as an example. And this side with the dome nut obviously is going to be the underside of the ceiling, part that we can see, and then the wire can just run up through that, and that's going to look a whole lot better and a whole lot more finished. The last and most important component to be fitted to this timber beam is yet to go in, but I can't do that until I apply the finish, apply stain to this. So yeah, so first of all, give it a really good sand, stain it, and then add that last piece, and it'll be ready to go. To sand inside these grooves, all I'm going to do is grab a piece of 6mm MDF, because these grooves are 8mm. Piece of 6mm MDF and one of these thick dissanding pads. I'm going to fold it, as you can see, like that, over this piece of 6mm MDF. I'm just going to run that inside this groove, up and down, just to sand down the sides of the groove, because it got a little bit of chatter when I was using the router bit, and they're a bit rough. And now we're at the last piece to the puzzle, and that is the LED light strips that go inside these grooves. I've already started weaving them in through the holes on the ends. I've got two lengths of 5 meters of this LED strip, which fits in these 5 grooves perfectly. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start the end of each in the very center, mark the halfway mark, and then start running one that way, which will bring it the end up to here, and then run the second one the opposite way, which will bring the end down to the opposite end of the light fitting. I'm not confident relying just on the adhesive that comes with this strip. It does have an adhesive back, but yeah, I'm not real confident just on relying that to keep it in place. The last thing I want is for these LED strips to start coming unstuck and hang down while we're having dinner or got guests over, so that would be a real good look. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue them in. I've got some construction adhesive, and yeah, so I'm going to glue them in with that. The reason why I've cut this rabbet around the edge of this space in the beam is just so that I can put a cover on, basically. So once I'm all done, that cover's just going to sit there. That's simply just a piece of 5mm hardboard cut to fit that rabbet. And the reason for that is so that I don't get any uplighting from the bits of LED strip that are inside these spaces. That also brings me to the point of how this light is going to be powered. The 12 volt, the strips are 12 volt, very low voltage, so there's no issue with voltage or anything like that, dangerous voltages. And the way it's going to be powered is the 12 volts is actually going to run down the wire hanger from the ceiling, so there won't be any electrical connection on the light. We'll give it a really clean look. And what I'm going to do is just join this end and the LED strip at the other end. That's what these two channels are for, so I can run cables. And they're going to terminate just into one of these electrical terminals, and that is going to sit underneath the hanging hook. That's a 5/16 hole. That'll just be terminated underneath that hanging hook. And what will happen is, when I hang the light, if you can imagine this wire hanger, this is where the 12 volts is on this wire hanger. Once I connect that up, that'll make an electrical connection and power the light. Well, there you have it. The light's pretty much finished now. All it's left to do is install it in the house. But before I did that, I just wanted to check everything was okay. So I've done this quick mock-up. Got the light suspended on the wire hangers, just up there on with those clamps up to my ceiling, as you can see there, and down to there. So that's yeah, basically just suspended off the bench a couple of inches. Like I said, just to make sure everything looks fine. It's all going to work out okay. And also, I did also want to check that that method of powering the light through the steel wire hangers was going to work. I'll just give it a test run now. I'll switch it on. And there you have it. Yeah, well, the light's all finished now, and it's installed in the house, connected up, and sitting there just above our dining room table. I was really, really happy with how this has turned out. Yeah, I think it looks amazing. And it's a very, very sleek, clean look, I think. There's no visible electrical connection, and those screws and dome nuts that I drilled out to run the cable through the ceiling finishes it off really nicely.